What's up, guys? EDA here, and we're going to be doing a review of the Arsenal versus Bournemouth game and the Man City versus Wolves game. Again, another step closer to the end of the Premier League season. And again, guys, both teams showed up, so you've got to give them their props. Looking at the results, you had an Arsenal 3-0 victory and a Man City 5-1 victory. And starting off with Arsenal coming into this round of fixtures, not apprehensive in terms of the Arsenal performance. I think you have to give Bournemouth their respect, their credit. A really good team, and have shown that over the course of the season. Already reached their record points tally. And Iriola has again done an amazing job. There was some apprehension when he replaced Gary O'Neill, and he stepped up, done a great job, and put them in a position where they look like a threat to a lot of teams. You know, they've caused problems for Man United. They've caused problems for a plethora of different teams in the league. And so coming into this game, optimistic from an Arsenal perspective, but also wary that if we don't get an early goal, if we don't take advantage of our position, being at home, being in control, then there could be a couple of problems. So we'll get into the game. And as we mentioned, 3-0 victory for Arsenal. If we look at the lineup that started for Arsenal, had no issues. Same team that started the previous game against Spurs. Again, really good performance from the team. That Spurs victory should have been, 3-4. But individual errors and mistakes let Spurs back into the game, caused a contentious finish. And yeah, it was good to see that team come back out, hopefully building upon that great first half that they had against Spurs. And going into the game and proceeding with the game, you can see Arsenal from the offset were in control, looking to dominate, take the game by the scruff of the neck, and they should have had a couple of goals within the first 10, 15 minutes. Normally when Arsenal score quite early on, they take control of the game, and it's very hard for teams to get back into it, unless, again, they make individual errors. But again, Arsenal were in control for large parts of the first half. Bournemouth did have a couple of opportunities where they looked like they could counter that didn't present itself. And it was snuffed out mainly by Gabriel, Saliba, Declan Rice, all playing a pivotal part. Ben White, all playing a pivotal part in all that Arsenal were doing. Tomiyasu, who had a little bit of a shaky game against Spurs at parts, was, again, for me, superb. Did a really good job. And I guess as the game went on in the first half, there was some skepticism, some element of, are we going to break the deadlock? We've had so many opportunities. There's been a lot of wasteful finishing from Arsenal. They should have been up by a goal before Saka gets the penalty. And that's through Kai Havertz going through on goal and getting fouled by the goalkeeper. And again, there was some contention again to, is it a foul? Did Havertz dive? For me, it's a foul. It's been a foul for a number of years, like literally for the last 10, 15 years of the Premier League. That's been a foul. Goalkeepers can't put themselves in those kind of situations and give strikers the opportunity to either exaggerate the contact or make the contact. You've left your leg out there. Kai Havertz, as a striker probably should do, drags his foot, gets the contact, gets the penalty, and once the referee's given it, it's going to be hard for it to be overturned by VAR. I'm surprised at how long they actually looked at it. If there's contact and the referee's seen the contact and he's given it, we don't need to be doing VAR checks for that length of time. But Saka steps up and slots it away. That is a penalty that maybe look easy, maybe look like something he should be doing, but there's a lot of pressure for that penalty, and he steps up and does exactly what you expect a player of his caliber to do. 1-0 up for Arsenal going into half time. And as from a fan perspective, looking for more of the same proceeding as the game proceeded. I thought going into the first half, the team were doing really well. Some concerns about Trossard's performances. I'll be honest with you, still not 100% certain about when he starts. But as we learned from the second goal, one thing about Trossard is when he gets a chance, more times than not, he's going to put it away. He's the most clinical player at Arsenal without a doubt. And that's the difference between him and the other left wing options that we currently have. Some of them will potentially, you know, work hard, like Trossard and Martinelli do. The difference between Martinelli and Trossard at the moment this season is that Trossard's put away his chances and Martinelli hasn't. And so, with that in mind, we have to take that into consideration. That even when he's not producing the best performance, he has that spark and that ability to score. For that second goal, great work by Declan Rice. Harry's the Bournemouth midfield, wins the ball back, plays a smart and importantly quick ball to Leandro Trossard, who in an instant shoots and finds the back of the net. Again, great finish, clinical, quick-witted, and I think an element of it caught the goalkeeper by surprise. He wasn't expecting that pass so quickly from Rice. He wasn't expecting that finish first time from Trossard, and that put Arsenal up 2-0. Once they were up 2-0, again, a lot of domination, a lot of control. Bournemouth weren't giving up. And there was again another contentious decision when David Raya went up for the ball. Dominic Solanke leaned into him, and at the same time there was some fouling between the Bournemouth and Arsenal players, which could have resulted in a Bournemouth goal. Again, for me, it's tough. Again, if I was a Bournemouth fan, I'd probably be fuming. That should have been a goal for us. But if I'm being honest, from just trying to be as unbiased as I possibly can, Solanke makes it too obvious. He makes it too obvious that he's looking to disrupt Raya. You got to master the dark arts there a little bit, and that would be my word of warning for Solanke. It wasn't his greatest game. He's been an option potentially for some of the bigger teams in the summer. I think he probably needs another season also to prove his ability and his all-round game. I do think he's a good player for sure, but I don't know if he's suitable for the top 4 or 5 teams currently. And this is a game where he probably needed to prove it and show, he could deliver for Bournemouth in a game like this. And yeah, there's a couple of questions that can't be disputed. Before we go into the rest of the game stats very quickly, again, all-round perfect team performance from Arsenal. Declan Rice capped it off with the third goal, a brilliant goal and a performance that deserved the goal, if we're being honest with you. That takes Rice, I believe, to 7 goals in the season and 8 assists or 9 assists. I think it's 8 assists. But again, what a return for a midfielder who, many had identified as just purely being a 6. He's clearly, for us right now, a 6/8. Him up higher in the pitch is immense for Arsenal, if I'm being honest with you. And yeah, you can't say much more than that. He very much deserves man of the match. Kai Havertz, amazing again. The work he does, the dirty work, and the intricate play that we see coming out more and more, really impressive. Bukayo Saka doing what he does. Trossard with the goal again. I don't think his performance was the best, but he delivers, and that's what you need at times. All round, very, very good performance from Arsenal. I think Raya had a good game as well. Apart from that little incident, was solid, made some crucial saves. From a Bournemouth standpoint, again, I think they worked well as a team, but I guess there was just a larger element of quality. On the Arsenal side, Kluivert played well before he went off. Outside of him, no one else really stood out to me, if I'm being honest, from a Bournemouth side. As we go through the rest of the subs, Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus came on. Jesus with the assist for the Rice goal. Fairly standard pass, but again, I think Jesus, if he's staying at Arsenal, will be on the wings. We'll probably have a video on Jesus in the coming weeks, just because I've got some opinions and some thoughts on him as well. So we're just going to look for the rest of the stats. Let's just take a look very quickly. In terms of the stats, possession-wise, Bournemouth did pretty well obtaining the ball. In terms of expected goals, again, Arsenal dominated. XG of 3 should have clearly been a little bit more. I think Arsenal should have finished that game with maybe 4 or 5 goals. Bournemouth, could have got such a goal in some of the incidents that they may feel, would have went against them. Shots 25-7 for Arsenal, 9 on target to 2, 5 big chances for Arsenal, compared to 1 for Bournemouth. And you can see that again, Arsenal just weren't as clinical as they couldn't be, and that could have, potentially been a downfall if they don't win the Premier League this season. And so following on from that, Arsenal went 4 points clear of Man City, who had a game against Wolves. And I think from a lot of fans and a lot of players, yeah, it would have been very interesting going into this game. I think a lot of us knew Man City at home, haven't lost at home this season. It would have taken a monumental effort from Wolves to win this game, and you know, they collapsed pretty quickly, if I'm being honest with you. Looking at the team, I think this was a pretty good team from a Wolves side. Cunha, Hwang have given problems to Wolves in the past, and it seemed like a good setup from an attacking standpoint. But defensively, they will run ragged all through the game. Haaland pops up with 4 goals, and Alvarez off the bench pops up with one more. But again, complete domination from my side. They get the early penalty. Some question around, is it a penalty? Isn't it a penalty? I think it's a little bit soft, but once the referee gives it, similar to the Arsenal game, it's going to be very hard for it to be overturned. And so, no real issue with that. I think rather than going into the goals individually, I want to talk about Haaland very, very briefly. 25 goals. He stands 5 goals clear of the next players who have 20 goals. I think that's Cole Palmer. And it may be, yeah, I think it's Cole Palmer, maybe Watkins around there. But he's had a down season, according to many, and according to myself as well. But his ability since coming back into form and since coming back from injury is exactly what you need for him. These are games where you need the big players to deliver. These are the times when you need the big players to deliver, and that's exactly what he did. 4 games in a crunch time title race game. That's a difference maker. That's a game breaker. That's a game changer, and you've got to give him his props. You've got to give the surrounding cast their props as well. The intricate play that they give to him. Rodri playing balls, KDB playing the balls that are just immaculate for a striker, and the things that a striker would dream of. I think the one that stood out to me for him was that third goal. And I think with that third goal, sorry, not the third goal, the fourth goal, right after the Wolves scored, that fourth goal from Haaland was superb. Taking control back of the game, that finish, absolutely buried. And yeah, you can't really say too much about this game that the scoreline doesn't represent. Wolves tried, they put in a solid effort, but again, the quality difference was there, the setup difference was there, and they took their chances, Man City. There was no messing about. I think in terms of being clinical, they have that above Arsenal to a degree. 58% possession, 3.73 expected goals compared to Wolves 0.35, 20 shots on shots compared to 2, 12 on target compared to 1, 6 big chances compared to Wolves 1, and 3 big missed chances for Man City. So where does that leave us in terms of the Premier League table? Well, Arsenal with 36 games played have 1 point advantage over Man City, who are currently on 82 points. Their next game, from a Man City standpoint, will be against Fulham, and Arsenal's next game, which is a massive one, will be against Man United at Old Trafford. And so these teams have been in near immaculate form. Man City, to me, again, you'd love to dream of them dropping points. History would tell you that they probably won't, but you've got to take that from a fan perspective and have that kind of hope and admiration that Arsenal will get that luck. But if they don't, they'll have to look at games such as Aston Villa, the games against West Ham, the games against Fulham. Those are games where if you want to beat a team like Man City, you can't drop points the way that Arsenal drop points. You've got to get a couple draws out of those games that you're losing. And that's a piece for Arsenal to take away going forward for sure. So looking at this, again, got to give Man City the advantage. They are champions. They've done it before. They look like they're going to do it again. And we're going to have to wait and see. But it's going to be an exciting end to this title race. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to it. We'll probably do a quick review of the games tomorrow once they're finished. But again, hopefully you guys have enjoyed the football. It's been EDA. Peace.